Welcome to the Holiday Decor Podcast, your source for the year-round celebration of holiday hope and seasonal cheer. To help you usher season's greetings into your home, here's your host, McDonald.
Have you ever had that ultra luxury item in your life? Maybe it was a wedding dress. Maybe it was a custom piece of furniture. Maybe it was even a custom piece of jewelry. Your engagement ring? Maybe some diamond earrings? Well, on this week's episode, we're going to talk about couture level Christmas wreaths, ultra luxury jewelry for the front door. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Are you taking advantage of our new social media accounts? We've created an Instagram page, a YouTube channel, and a Facebook business page just for you, our listeners. So make sure that you are following us first on Instagram at Holiday Decor School. That's right. The handle on Instagram is Holiday Decor School. The next one is our YouTube channel. Are you following us on YouTube? We have a YouTube channel that we created just for you. It's the Holiday Decor Training Institute YouTube channel, and we'll go ahead and link it in our show notes. We want to make sure that you are subscribed to that channel because we are adding videos and reels daily. And finally, we have a Facebook page that we designed just for you. If you are a Facebook fan, you can find us over on the Holiday Decor School page with the URL facebook.com/page/Holiday Decor School. We look forward to your likes, your follows, and your shares. Let's make sure that all of us have a great, happy, healthy, and joyous holiday season. And we'll see you over on our social media platforms. Just need a little help with a couple of small things here and there for your holiday decor? If so, I want to recommend our Tinsel Time workshops. These are short, bite-sized workshops that you can take advantage of to learn about mantelpieces, how to make fabulous custom pine cones, and all sorts of goodies, specifically the types that we share in our Tinsel Time features. I invite you to go over and visit www.holidaydecorhome.com. Make sure you're on the email list so you don't miss an upcoming Tinsel Time workshop. Hi, this is McDonald, and I want to welcome you to this week's episode of the Holiday Decor Podcast. Friends, this is a fun one. We are going to talk about couture Christmas wreaths for the ultra luxury front door. So one of the most interesting things that I get to do is work with clients to design ultra couture level Christmas wreaths. Now, let me explain to you what this episode is all about. But before I do, I want you to get into the right frame of mind. So I want you to think about something incredibly special in your life that you treasure and value. It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, but it is something that you take great care of. Maybe it's a christening dress that you pass down from generations to generations to generations. Maybe it's your crystal that was your grandmother's and then it was your mother's and now it's yours. Maybe it's your wedding ring. You always take great care to keep it clean and make sure everything is properly set. Maybe it was a couture level gown or something that you had made. But there is something special in your life that you take great care to steward carefully. It could even be your family Bible. I know we have a family Bible, and I'm always very mindful of how we store it, how we present it, how we take care of it, and if we ever move, how it gets moved with us. So that's the mindset I want you to have as we're unpacking something that can seem frivolous if you don't understand the context. But here's the thing I wanted to do in this episode of the Holiday Decor Podcast. I want to give you some hope that you too can have that beautiful experience of a special holiday with something as simple as paying attention to and creating a really beautiful couture level Christmas wreath that's going to be like the jewelry on your front door. Now, confession time. For many years, especially when my kids were young, I would just buy the local wreath that the local Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or whoever was selling, the local newspaper, whatever it was. I just pay the $15 and buy the wreath and hang it up on the front door because there were times and seasons where I just felt like I couldn't get a handle on it. Have you ever been in that place? You're just like, Ann, I do not have time to think about some custom level whatever for my front door. Like, I don't even go in the front door, right? I mean, there are seasons like that, friend, where we're in that space and Christmas like comes and goes and we're like, oh my gosh, did I make sure and get a present for every kid? There was one Christmas where I knew that there was a present that my mom and dad hadn't gotten for me, but I was the fifth kid. So I was rolling around in the back of the car and I was like, hey, Mom, I think there's a present you didn't give to me. It's in the back of the station wagon. Okay, so maybe you know what I'm talking about. Well, what we're going to unpack with the Couture Christmas wreath this week is not that. It's actually that super special piece. And I want to walk you through the journey and the experience that we walk our high-end clients through, our one-on-one clients through, so that you can see how you can apply this to your decor for this holiday season. So now, how many of you have ever bought a very expensive wreath for your front door? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the show notes, on the blog, on the social media, underneath this episode, wherever you're listening to it. Have you ever felt like, wow, I spent a lot on that wreath. that was expensive. And then maybe the next season you're like, it doesn't look so good. It didn't actually last the way I wanted it to. Well, the items that we design in this process, we call it couture. Now, I'm assuming that most of you know, if not everybody knows what couture, when I say the word couture, it's basically think of the great fashion houses. If you were to go to Paris and you were to have a couture gown made, you would go over and you'd select the fabric and the designer would work with you and they would form it to your form, to your body, to your height, to your weight, to your look, to your style. And it would be made by hand just for you. So that's the same thing we're talking about, only for custom wreaths for the ultra luxury front door. Now, when I first got started in holiday decor, it was kind of on accident. Now, some of you have heard this story before, but have you ever been in a situation where you just happen to be in the right place at the right time and you're like, oh no, we got to do something about that? Right? You've been in a situation, you're like, hey, and you speak up. Well, that's how I ended up in holiday decor. I just finished a decorating job with a client and her home was beautiful. Everything was dialed and done. She had spent a couple of years working on things. She had a great eye and I had been able to come in and design a couple of the elements and the project was just wrapping up. And she was pulling out her boxes of Christmas decor. Only these boxes, do you guys remember that old song, Which One of These Things Is Not Like the Other? It was on Sesame Street, I think, and they'd have a dog, a cat, a turtle, and a book, right? And the book was not like the dog, the cat, and the turtle because it wasn't an animal. Well, that's kind of like what her holiday decor boxes were like. She had this beautiful house and then this crappy old holiday decor. And I'm not talking the DIY stuff, the memories and all that kind of stuff. No, there was a lot of junk here. And even she knew it. And I was like, wait, we have to do something about this. And so kind of on accident, I stumbled into holiday decor. Well, as a result of that, I started to look around for manufacturers and people who could make really beautiful custom designs, because that's what my interior design business had been. And in that process, I found that we had a real knack for working with clients to design custom things that worked specifically for their homes. Now, we have an upcoming workshop for you. You can find out more about these on the website called Holiday Decor Live. And what we're going to do in those workshops is work in a group setting with you in the same way that we work with our one-on-one clients. So you too can design your holiday home. You can design the holiday home story. You can design the color story. You can come up with an experience and a storyline, and then think about what elements you would put in your custom designs. And then you can source them from retail outlets or you can source them from us. But that Holiday Decor Live is actually the same type of experience that we give to our customers. So let's get back to the wreaths. All right. So imagine this. Imagine you're having this amazing party. Maybe you're going to have, some elderly relatives in town and it's maybe, one of the last times that they're going to be joining you, or maybe there's a new baby in the family, you're going to have a party or something, and there really is a need for something special on your front door as that first experience. Well, what we do with our clients is we actually make everything by hand, like everything. So you know how you go into Hobby Lobby or Michael's Crafts and you'll pick up one of those stems, it'll be like a fake flower or it'll be a fake piece of greenery. Well, instead of just having a fake piece of greenery, imagine if that entire piece of greenery was made by hand by an actual craftsperson. So that's how we start when we build out these truly custom creations, these truly couture level products, especially when it comes to wreaths. So the first thing we do is we look at the overall color story for the home. So think of your color story for your holiday home. Maybe you want to go super traditional, like our Majesty line. It's like deep greens and very traditional creams and reds and berries, and it's a very traditional look. This year we've got like navy blues and tartans and in the mix as well. Or maybe you're more in that rustic category. You're like, Anne, I want some magnolia leaves and eucalyptus leaves, and I really want it to be able to transition between Thanksgiving and Christmas and then on into the new year. Well, that would be more like our aspen winter line. Okay, so imagine what color story you would want to use. Or maybe you're like our Joie de Vivre line, where you're like pops of pink and light blue. The Barbie movie came out. I haven't seen it yet, but we have a line that we created a couple of years ago. It's called Joie de Vivre, right? The joy of life, joy for living. And it's pale pinks and like Tiffany blues. And it works really well in cabins and in darker homes because it lightens up the space, but it also works fabulously in like beach communities and in warm weather climates. You add in some metallics and you've got that kind of a look. So let me know in the chat, which one is more like you? What's your base going to be like? Is it going to be more contemporary and bright colored? Is it going to be more rustic and traditional? Or is it going to be straight up traditional? Like, Anne, I'm going with the greens and the reds and the navy blues, and it's going to be a super traditional Christmas. Well, that's where we start with our clients when we're building out these custom wreaths. Now, here's the fun part. The second thing we're looking at is we always want to understand what shapes are going to work. Now, not every wreath that we make is a round wreath. How many of you have ever had a square wreath or a rectangle wreath, or maybe a shape that isn't even a wreath at all hanging on your front door? Maybe you've seen those on Pinterest or you've seen them on Instagram, where they're these beautiful shapes and they actually are designed to work with the house, not just be your standard wreath that you would buy at the local hardware store or your local home goods. Well, that's one of the things that we work on with our clients. We're always trying to imagine what is going to be that magnificent piece of jewelry on the front door. The next thing we do is we're always working to find out what framing is going to work best. Now, have you ever had a glass front door? Have you ever had a door where you hang up a wreath and then you're done hanging up the wreath and you're like, uh-oh. I can see through the door and the back of that wreath looks really, really bad. Okay. So one of the things that is taken into consideration, obviously, would be the back of the wreath. So as we take a quick break for our tinsel time feature, I want you to think about what shapes would you include? What core color would be your underpinning for your custom couture level wreath?
Welcome to Tinsel Time, where we enjoy something extravagant every week just for fun. Want a holiday decor custom element that's sure to impress? Create a custom scent, home perfume, or candle just for your home. Long hailed by luxury home builders the world over, creating custom scents is often the secret sauce to capturing the ideals, hopes, and dreams of their potential clients. For our bespoke holiday decor clients, we have perfumers create a seasonal scent that can be infused into the home as well as given as hostess gifts. Fancy and over-the-top fabulous, this intentional couture touch is sure to make lasting memories. See a few pictures in the show notes at holidaydecorhome.com.
Okay, do you have the shape? Do you have the color story? Think about those things. Now, the next thing that we want to do when we're putting these together for our clients, and again, I don't want to be pushy, but I do want to encourage you, please take advantage of our Holiday Decor Live Masterclass. This is where we're going to walk you through the same process that we walk our one-on-one clients through so that you can have a gorgeous, fabulous, stress-free, happy holiday home this season. You can find out more information in the show notes. All right, so let's get back to this. So one of the first things that we have to think about is we have to think outside the box of the traditional round wreath that we buy, like I said earlier, at our local hardware store or our local home goods. Now, like I shared, early on in this episode, there is a place for those things. And I absolutely did have seasons in my life where that was what we did. But I want you to think about this for yourself this year. Is there something that you could do for yourself that would really elevate your experience of your holiday home? Now, I love beauty. I think spatial beauty can heal us. I think spaces and places either move us forward or they hold us back from becoming everything that we are designed to be. And especially during the holiday season, sometimes we just need to take that extra care to create something or purchase something that really speaks to us and just sparks our joy. Is it Marie Kondo? I can't remember her last name, but she had that, sparks joy. Does it spark joy? Well, I never actually took her classes, but I like the whole concept. So I hope I'm communicating that right. Let me know in the blog if I haven't, if I'm off on that. But think about a truly luxury custom creation that would spark joy for you. Now, here's the other thing that we noticed. When we create these super elegant custom creations for our clients, can you guess how they're stewarded? Like if you had your beautiful wedding dress, you don't just throw it in a closet or throw it on the floor. You steward it really well. You've got a gorgeous piece of jewelry. You don't just take it off and throw it in the cabinet. You care for it. You have it cleaned. You make sure the settings are tight. You steward it really well. Well, the same thing is true when we take care with holiday decorations that are of a very high caliber. We steward them. And so when we go through this process with our clients, one of the funnest things is actually the story of the process of creation. So that instead of becoming this throwaway item, even if it was a $250 wreath from Pottery Barn or Horchow Home or something like that, instead of just becoming a throwaway item that just gets put in some storage box somewhere, it actually becomes something that is part of your holiday home story year after year after year. Now, here's one feature that not many people know about. When we design these couture level wreaths for custom, really, truly beautiful luxury custom projects, we always leave space to add in elements year to year to year. So what do I mean by this? I want you to picture your most lovely, black dress. The black dress that you have in your closet that goes up 5 pounds, goes down 5 pounds. It can take you to, from the White House to the high school fundraiser, right? It can take you wherever you need to go. All you have to do is kind of change out your jewelry and your shoes and maybe a scarf and a sweater. But it's that one piece, it's that one staple clothing item that you have. And maybe like I did, you paid up for that one piece. It's like a really quality, well-made piece. Now, you know that with that one piece, that one little black dress, if you change your jewelry, you change your shoes, you wear a cover over it, or you don't wear a cover over it, you can actually change the look of it from location to location to location. Well, in this same way, when we're creating, or you're thinking about creating your own high-end luxury wreaths in unique shapes for your unique home, you want to leave space so that you can add in individual elements from year to year so that you don't get bored with the same look every single holiday season. How fun would it be to spend a day working on your holiday home design? What would it be like if you could actually create a storyline and a color story for your holiday home? Well, we have an opportunity for you that is new this year called Holiday Decor Live. My team and I have an entire day set aside where you can come in and out and workshop with us and learn how we create fabulous, beautiful, stress-free holiday homes. We'll be sharing with you our happy holiday decorator system and the same process that we train our professional and certified holiday designers in. You can find out more information about the upcoming Holiday Decor Live Masterclass on our website at www.holidaydecorhome.com. Don't miss this one, friends. On January 1st, you're going to be sad if you missed this year's Holiday Decor Live. We have a seat with your name on it. Again, you can find out more information at holidaydecorhome.com. So I hope that this episode has blessed you. We've got some pictures in the show notes for you. We've got, custom creations that we have made with clients in the past in the Majesty collection, in the Joie de Vivre collection, even in the Aspen Winter collection. And I want to encourage you this year to think about your holiday home differently. Don't think of it in terms of throw away and get as cheap as I can and whatever I can and overdoing it. I want you to think about creating a really lovely and beautiful experience in your holiday home. Remember, you're creating spaces and places for your family, for yourself to gather. And energetically, you want to bring things into the environment that speak of love and hope and have a story to them. A good story, not a negative story, right? How many of us have ever maybe we've had a bad season in our life where the holiday season didn't go so well. Many years ago, I lost my sister-in-law during the holiday season. And so it was a couple years after where it was really tender. And so what I noticed was as we were designing spaces and places after that season, there was a real tenderness and there was a real reverence for the spaces. And in the same way, I want to give you permission to think of your holiday home differently this year. Let it be an experience that moves your family forward through good times and through bad, a place where people feel safe and nurtured and loved and celebrated. This is Ann McDonald signing off for this episode of the Holiday Decor Podcast. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Make sure to check out those show notes at www.holidaydecorhome.com. I want to invite you to subscribe, rate, review, and share the Holiday Decor Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere awesome podcasts are found.
Thank you for listening. For more information and tips on how to turn your home into a place of joy this holiday season, please visit holidaydecorhome.com.